We welcome all of our junior limousine exhibitors. We will have our show get underway. We will start off with class number 1. This is Division 1 of limousine females. We will have in this class entry 1947 from Tyler Thomas of Sterling, Colorado. Evaluating our cattle within our limousine show will be Miss Brittany Kramer. She will have the honors of selecting all of your champions for the 2026 Junior Limousine Show. Results for class number 1 of your Division 1 limousine females. First place and your champion is going to be 1947 from Tyler Thomas. We will now bring up our next division, which will be Division 4 of limousine females. This will be class number 2. Class number 2 will have a single entry, 1948, coming from Aaliyah Wick of Buffalo Center, Iowa. Date of birth on this female is going to be February 21st of 2024. And we want to welcome our South Devon Junior Show exhibitors to the ring. In the ring at this time is now Class 201. These are heifer calves, calved January 1st of 2025 and or after. We'll have a single entry in this Class 201. This is entry 2611, coming from Macy Ann Hansen of Fall Creek, Wisconsin. Evaluating our cattle today within our South Devon Junior Show is Miss Casey Vollmer of Mills, Wyoming.
Good morning, everyone. Here on the South Devon side, I'm really excited to be here today, and I think if this young lady's individual is going to be any indication of how her day is going to go, I'm really excited, and I hope you are too. I think a really nice heifer calf to go ahead and start us off. Really attractive on the profile. I love the freshness and the femininity through her front 1/3. She is a little bit tighter for me off both ends of her skeleton. I'd like to see her flex just a notch more off both ends, but I think a really attractive female to go ahead and get us started. Congratulations to that young lady.
Results coming in from Class 201 of your South Devons. First place is 2611 from Macy Ann Hansen of Fall Creek, Wisconsin. Within your South Devon show, we will now bring up Class 201A of heifer calves. These will be heifers calved January 1st of 2025 or after. We will have entries 2612 from Lauren Zabel of Pella, Iowa. 2613 from Lindsay Strach of Fairchild, Wisconsin. 2614 comes from Kelsey Zimmer of Bay City, Wisconsin. And 2615 comes from Brady Mitchell, which is a donation heifer. This is Class 201A. Over within your limousine show, we have in the ring at this time our division champions. Our judge will select your grand champion and reserve grand champion limousine females.
think a really nice class over here on the South Devon side, and I really love the red female to go ahead and get us started. And I do think there is a little bit give and take in this top pair, but as soon as this one came in, super attractive in terms of her profile. She is a little bit tighter in her spine as we ask her out here on the lead, but I think that's pretty critical. I think she's really attractive. I love that birdie shape she's going to offer us. I think that's a really nice place to start. I do like a lot of things about the black female that's going to come out next, one that's extremely highly presented. She's fit extremely well out here, and I think that one also is very attractive in terms of how she's put together. She is a little bit tighter as we ask her to get out here, a little bit straighter in terms of her shoulder, not quite as flexible as we get her out, but certainly one in terms of her forerib shape and through her rear rib and flank. She gives you a really, really nice view here on the side. Congratulations to that young man. Young ladies that's going to come out next here, I think just in terms of broodiness and cow power, she does give you that look on the side. It's when you step in behind her, she is a little bit flatter in terms of how she's put together. I'd certainly like to open her up in terms of her skeleton, but I still think she has more to her than the young ladies individual that's going to round out the class today. Certainly a lot of length and performance, so this one's going to offer us today a little bit too tubular in terms of how she's put together. I'd like to see her more progressive in terms of her rib shape, but a nice class. Congratulations to those individuals.
Results coming in for Class 201A of your South Devon show. Fourth place, 2613, comes from Lindsay Strach. Third place, 2614, from Kelsey Zimmer. Second place was 2615 from Brady Mitchell. And your Class 201A winner was 2612 from Lauren Zabel. We will now bring into our South Devon show ring Class 201B. These will be heifer calves calved at January 1st of 2025 or after. We'll have a single entry within Class 201B. This is entry 2616 from Jane Damon of Pella, Iowa.
Really nice single entry here, and it's a shame she doesn't have more competitors out here to stand with her, but I think in her own right, powerful just comes to mind when you see this one, and I think as you study her in terms of her muscle shape, I think she offers a lot of performance and a lot of growth. As you see her from a breeding prospect, I think that one offers a lot just from a muscle standpoint. Would like to see her just a notch better from that last rib back. She wants to get a little bit tighter in terms of her hip-loin junction, wants to step under herself just a little bit as we ask her on the lead, but in terms of her power and shape, I think that's a really nice individual. I'm excited to see her stack up with the rest of them. Congratulations.
Results for Class 201B, first place, 2616 from Jane Damon. At this time, we'll now bring back our class winners from Classes 201, 201A, and 201B. Our judge, Miss Casey Volmer, will now select your champion and reserve champion junior heifer calves. Over within your limousine show, we have paused for a momentary picture break at the backdrop with our champions. Your grand champion limousine female was 1947 from Tyler Thomas. Your reserve champion limousine female was 1948 from Aaliyah Wick. We'll get started off with our limousine show. We'll move right into our Division I of Limflex females as soon as those photos are done. We'll start up with class number 3.
When you get these classes out here for our division championship here, I think there's a lot of quality. I'd certainly like to see more of them out here today, but I think just in terms of the depth of quality and what we have out here, really proud to have these ones out here for our divisional championship. When you start to break them down just in terms of those little things when we see them out here together, I do think there's some changes just in terms of structure that I'd like to see as a group here, but certainly when you look at the totals in terms of quality and completeness, I do like the pair here in the middle to go ahead and be your champion reserve. Congratulations to all these kids.
Your champion junior heifer calf within your South Devon show in the pound maker divisions, entry 2612 is going to be your champion. That is Lauren Zabel of Pella, Iowa. Your reserve champion junior heifer calf comes from 2615. That is Brady Mitchell. We'll go ahead and reset our ring for our pound makers in the South Devon show ring, and we'll bring up now Class 202. Class 202 will be senior heifer calves. These heifers were calved August 1st through December 31st of 2024. We'll have a single entry within Class 202. It'll be 2618 coming from Jillian Kneep of Mount Ayr, Iowa. This is the only entry in the class and the only class in the division. So first place in Class 202 will become your champion senior heifer calf. And we are now underway on the limousine show ring. We have now in the ring Division 1 of Limflex females. This is our first class, class number 3 in the program. We'll have 2 entries that make up this class. 1950 comes from Harper Torgensen of Artesian, South Dakota, and 1952 comes from Tyler Thomas of Sterling, Colorado.
I think a nice individual here for our senior heifer calf and in our pound maker division. And I think one just in terms of her rib shape and the dimension that she has on the top side of her skeleton. I do like that she has some breeding pieces to offer as we take her on down the road here. I would like to modify her of that rear 1/3. She wants to get a little bit off in her hip, like to see her step just a notch square off of those rear 2 and clean her up through her front. But a nice individual. Congratulations to that young lady.
Results for your junior pound maker heifers, Class 202, first place, and your champion senior heifer calf is entry 2618 from Jillian Kneep. We'll reset our ring and bring up now Class 203. These will be summer yearling heifers, calved May 1st through July 31st of 2024. We'll have 2 entries that make up this class. 2619 comes from Owen Kelm of Wauseka, Minnesota, and 2620 comes from Brady Mitchell of Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. This is the only class in its division, so therefore first and second within Class 203 will become your champion and reserve champion summer yearling heifers.
I think a pair of contrasting females here on the South Devon side, and I think the question is, does the female here on our left have quite enough to her, and is the female on the right feminine and sound enough to go ahead and start? For this judge's opinion today, I'm going to hang my hat on the more feminine individual here off to my left. I do think there's enough to her when you study her in terms of the true dimension of her rib. I do appreciate that she's more attractive in terms of that front end. She's more comfortable as we get her out here on the lead. That's going to be where we're going to start today. Congratulations to him. Now, in terms of power and rib shape and body, I do like the heifer that's going to be here in the second hole, and I wish we could combine these two. We'd have a pretty good female here. For me, she's just a little bit too short-fronted, wants to get a little bit more prominent in terms of her brisket. I like to see her just a notch squarer and more correct off of those rear two, but a really nice individual for that young man. Congratulations to those kids.
Results coming in for Class 203 on your Pound Maker Heifer show. Second place was 2619 from Owen Kilm. That also becomes your reserve champion summer yearling heifer. And your class winner and champion summer yearling heifer is 2620 from Brady Mitchell.
Really nice female here, and I think just in terms of sheer cow power, she's going to be the epitome of that statement here. Her advantages are going to start at the ground. Just in terms of her foot and her bone, you can see her toe set, and she's just stout in terms of her foundation. She carries that extra width and dimension on the top side of her skeleton. Would like to see her just a notch more feminine in terms of how her shoulder lays into her body, maybe just freshen up her neck just a little bit, but in terms of power and dimension, this is a really, really good one. Congratulations to that young lady.
Results for Class 204 of your junior yearling heifers within your Pound Makers show. First place, 2621 from Lindsay Strach of Fairchild, Wisconsin. We'll get our ring reset and bring up now Class 204A of junior yearling heifers. Within this class, we'll have two entries. 2623 comes from Carly McCracken of Alva, Oklahoma, and 2625 from Jace Peterson of Pella, Iowa. Over in your Limflex show ring, we now have in the ring class number 5 of the program. We have entries 1954 from Trotter Thomas of Sterling, Colorado. 1955 comes from Kyle Rule of Stillwater, Oklahoma. 1956 comes from Addison Kilm of Wauseka, Minnesota. And 1957 comes from Ben Spencer of Gibbon, Nebraska.
think the caliber of females here within this pair is tremendous, and I think the most quality we've seen today, and I think both of them are extremely, extremely good in your own right. And when you have two that are this close, you get to be pretty nitpicky and really start to break them apart just in terms of what they have here. And I think you have one that's really smooth, really attractive. She's a little bit more comfortable. Then you have one that's extremely broody, good in terms of her rib shape. When you start to nitpick them, I do like the red female just in terms of her structural flexibility. I think she is more correct in terms of how she handles her shoulder, and her forerib is just a notch more correct out here today as you study on the profile. It's a really, really good one to go ahead and start us off. Certainly nothing to take away from the black female. It's going to be in second here today, and I think if she were going to be in a different class, I think she would easily take that one as well. For me, she's a little bit shorter in terms of her front. She's a notch straighter in terms of the angle to her shoulder. Just got stuck in a hard class. It's an extremely good individual to go in that second hole. Congratulations to both of those kids.
Results coming in for that Class 5 of your Limflex show. Fourth place was 1956 from Addison Kilm. Third place, 1955 from Kyle Rule. Second place, 1954 from Trotter Thomas. And your class winner was 1957 from Ben Spencer. At this time, within your Limflex show, we'll now bring back our class winners, and our judge will select your champion and a reserve champion, Division I Limflex female.
So we bring these ones out for our divisional championship here. I think just in terms of muscle and dimension, all three of them fit the bill just in terms of those breeding pieces and what they're going to bring to the table just from a muscle standpoint. And in terms of quality, I think there's a pair of them that are just a notch more correct in terms of their overall quality and how they handle their femininity out here. Our two from our last class are going to go ahead and take the divisional championship. Congratulations to all these individuals.
Your champion junior yearling heifer in your pound maker show comes from class 204A. That is going to be 2625 from Jace Peterson. Your reserve champion summer yearling heifer is going to also come from class 204A. That is 2623 from Carla McCracken. At this time, now within your pound maker show, we will bring back all of our division winners, and our judge, Ms. Casey Vollmer, will select your grand and reserve grand champion pound maker junior heifers. Over in your Limflex show, your champion for your division came from Class 3, which was Class 5 in the program. That is going to be 1957 from Ben Spencer. Your reserve champion came way of Class number 4 in the program. That was 1953 from Brenna Bartlow.
So we get all our division champions out here. I think there's a lot of quality as they're standing here in the ring today. And I think when you just start to put them together in terms of a whole, there's certainly some pieces that start to shine and some things you want to change on some other ones. I'll go ahead and let my comments and classes stand out here. I think there's a really, really good one. As soon as she came in the ring, I knew it would have to take something to beat her out here today. Our heifer from the last class, you're going to go ahead and be our champion today.
Your champion is 26-25 from Jace Peterson. That's your grand champion Poundmaker Junior heifer.
I think for the reserve decision, that's going to come a little bit closer for me today. I do really like the black heifer from that heavyweight class, and I certainly do like the female from our first division, and certainly in terms of her type and kind. I do think there's some give and take between them. When you start to total them up and look at the pairs, I am going to go ahead and use the black female for reserve. Congratulations to all these individuals.
Your reserve champion Poundmaker Junior heifer also comes from your summer yearling division. That is going to be 26-23 from Carly McCracken. At this time, within our South Devon and Poundmaker show, we will pause, I believe, for a momentary picture break at the backdrop with our exhibitors. And then we'll move right in and move right along into the junior South Devon heifers. Start up with Class 101 of heifer calves. We're now back underway over in our limousine show. This is our Division II of Limflex females. This is going to be Class number 6 in the program. Class number 6 has an entry, 1958, from Alyssa Slimmer of Sablesville, Maryland. This is the first and only entry in this class. Results for Class number 6 of your Division II Limflex females. First place 1958 from Alyssa Slimmer. We'll now clear out our ring and make way for Class number 7. Class number 7 will have 2 entries. They consist 1960 from Gabrielle Miner of Stratford, Missouri, and 1961 comes from Savannah Larson of Interlochen, Florida. Those are your 2 entries that will make up Class number 7. Class 7 is the last class in its division. After this, we will have our first and second place entries come back and return for our judge to select your champion and reserve champions. Results for class number 7, second place, 1960 from Gabriel Miner. And your class winner was 1961 from Savannah Larson. We'll now take back and bring into the ring class 7 and 6 winners. Our judge will select your champion and reserve champion Division II Limb Flex females. Your Division II Limb Flex female champion is entry 1958 from Alyssa Slimmer. Your reserve champion comes from Class 7, that is 1961 from Savannah Larson. Up next in the program would be Division III of our Limb Flex females. We'll start off with Class number 8. Class number 8 will have entries 1962 coming from Allie Sorensen of Spanish Fork, Utah. This is the only entry in the class and the only class in its division. So first place within class number 8 will become your champion, Division III Limb Flex female. Results for class number 8 on your limb flex females. First place and your champion Division III limb flex female is entry 1962 from Allie Sorensen. We'll clear out our ring for our limb flex show, and we will bring up now Division IV. These will be limb flex females. We'll have a single entry within class number 9. Class number 9 will be 1968 from Savannah Larson of Interlochen, Florida. Want to welcome back our South Devon exhibitors. In our show ring, we now have Class 101A of heifer calves, calved January 1st of 2025 or after. We have entries 26-27 from Jillian Kniep, 26-28 from Kelsey Zimmer, 26-29 from Jillian Kniep, and 26-31 from Megan Feldbaum. Results for Division IV of your limb flex females, class number 9. First place and your champion for Division IV is going to be entry 1968 from Savannah Larson. Within our limousine show, limb flex females, we will bring back all of our division winners, and our judge, Miss Brittany Creamer, will select your champion and reserve champion limb flex females. We'll take the time to introduce our judge real quick, Brittany Creamer. She is a 5th-generation Angus breeder from Montrose, Colorado, where she and her family own and operate Lazy JB Angus. She's deeply rooted in the ranching industry. Brittany has combined her heritage with a passion for agriculture that spans both the national and international stage. She's a proud graduate of Oklahoma State University, holding a bachelor's degree in agricultural economics with a minor in Spanish, as well as a master's degree in international agriculture. Professionally, Brittany serves as a territory manager for Farah Diagnostics and Biologicals, makers of Therapies, which I use it and it's a good product. It's covering 6 western states and working closely with livestock producers across the region. We appreciate Brittany judging and evaluating our limousine show. Now we'll hear from Miss Casey Vollmer.
Really nice class to start off our heifer division here, and I think there's some give and take in this top pair. I am going to go ahead and side with the black female here on the top end here, and I think when you get her stuck on the side, I just think she's a notch more feminine and attractive, especially through that front 1/3. I think she's really fresh through her head and neck, and that's where she's going to have the advantage today. I do think she has enough to her here, and that's going to land her that top spot. Now, in terms of muscle and dimension, I do like the young lady's red female that's going to come out second here, and I think just as you study her on the lead, she does get a little bit tighter. She's a little bit shorter hipped and just a little bit straighter off both ends of her skeleton. But in terms of her breeding pieces, I think the young lady's got a really nice prospect there. The red heifer that's going to come out next here, in terms of her side profile, she does offer a lot of depth of body and depth of rib. When you step in behind her, that's where she's going to have a disadvantage today. Not quite as wide and opened up as we'd like to see her in terms of her skeleton. I'd certainly like to see her a notch more attractive in terms of that front end. That's where the black heifer is going to have the advantage. She is certainly more feminine through that front 1/3. That one gets a little bit too tubular in terms of her rib shape for me today, but a nice class. Congratulations to all those individuals.
Results coming in for Class 101A of your junior South Devon heifers. Fourth place was 2631 from Megan Fellbaum. Third place, 2629 from Jillian Kneep. Second place was entry 2627, also from Jillian Kneep. And your class winner was 2628 from Kelsey Zimmer. Moving about the ring this time for your junior South Devon show is Class 101B of heifer calves, calved January 1st of 2025 or after. We'll have entries 2632 from Paige Fellbaum of Swanville, Minnesota, 2633 from Joseph Hanfler of Little Falls, Minnesota. 2635 comes from Trice Vandermolen of Pella, Iowa, and 2645 comes from Eddie Winters of Zumbro Falls, Minnesota. That is your entries that will make up Class 101B. And as promised, in the ring at this time now for your Limb Flex show is now all of your division winners. Our judge will select your Grand and Reserve Grand Champion Limb Flex females. And we took time to introduce Brittany, but we'll now move over to our South Devon judge. That is going to be Miss Casey Vollmer. She's originally from Casper, Wyoming. Casey attended Casper Community College on a full-ride judging scholarship, where she was never out of the top 10 in reasons during her junior college career. She then transferred to Colorado State University, where she was on the 2012 Reserve National Champion team. She was a high individual overall for the sheep and goat division and 10th overall in reasons. She finished her bachelor's in meat science before agreeing to work on her master's degree in the livestock behavior and welfare with Dr. Temple Grandin. One of her most proudest career accomplishments was being recruited straight out of graduate school to help run a startup pork processing plant in Sioux City, Iowa, beginning at 5 head processed to now 21,000 head of hogs processed each day. She now runs her own taxidermy business in Casper, Wyoming. It is important to her that at each show she has the opportunity to judge. Each kid can learn something valuable to take with them on their future endeavors. We appreciate Ms. Casey Vollmer evaluating our South Devon shows.
On the South Devon side here, I think four good individuals, and sorry for making you guys wait, but I think there's a lot of wisdom being shared with Brittany over here, so I'm really grateful to have got to share the arena with her today. The individual that's going to win our class today, I think just in terms of her body shape, certainly one that's the most cowy as you study her out here in the group, and I think her broodiness is going to set her apart out here. She is a little bit more mature in terms of her front end, if you will. I know these are heifer calves, but as she continues to grow, I do hope she stays feminine and fresh through her front end, because that's where I'm going to critique her today, but certainly a really good one to go ahead and start this class off. I love the profile of the heifer that's going to be out here in second, and I think she's extremely attractive. She's really straight in her lines, and I certainly like that profile that she's going to give us here on the side. That one for me gets a little bit tighter in terms of her rib cage design. Certainly like to see her not just a notch bigger footed, a notch more flexible off both ends. That's what's going to put her here in that second hole today. The heifer that's going to come out in third, I think in terms of her true depth of body, her depth of rib, I think she does offer some benefits out here today. When you step in behind that one, she certainly needs to be opened up in terms of her skeleton. I'd like to see her just a notch more progressive in terms of her foundation and her skeletal width, but a nice female there in the third hole. Young man's female that's going to round out the class, I think just in terms of her freshness through her front 1/3, certainly a really up-headed female. She gives you that look on the side. I do think she needs to be just a notch better in terms of her depth of rib, certainly a notch better in terms of her flexibility, but a nice class. Congratulations to those individuals.
Some results to get to over in your Limb Flex show. Your grand champion Limb Flex female was just crowned. That is 1957 from Ben Spencer. Your reserve grand champion Limb Flex female was 1962 from Allie Sorensen. So congratulations to our Limb Flex female champions. We will pause within our limousine show for pictures at the backdrop, and then we will roll right into our next program for our limousines. Results to get to over in your South Devon Junior Heifer Show. Results for Class 101B. Fourth place was 2633 from Joseph Hanfler. Third place was 2632 from Paige Fellbaum. Second place was 2645 from Eddie Winters. And your class winner was 2635 from Trice Vander Molen. In the ring at this time now is going to be your class winners from classes 101A and 101B. Our judge, Ms. Casey Volmer, will select your champion and reserve champion junior heifer calves.
As we get these four individuals out here for our junior heifer calf division, I do think there's some give and take within the pairs, and certainly for as you study them in terms of their totals, there's ones that are a little bit more cowy and powerful, and there's a pair that's a little bit more attractive and feminine out here. For this judge today, I'll go out and select your champion. I think this is a really nice set out here. Congratulations to all these kids.
Your champion junior heifer calf comes from Class 101B. That's going to be 2635 from Trice Vander Molen. Your reserve champion junior heifer calf comes out of Class 101A. That is 2628 from Kelsey Zimmer.
think a really high quality female out here, and for me, one that I wish had some contenders for her to stand up against today, but certainly one in terms of her quality and her body shape. I do think she's a really good individual in her own right. That one for me, just in terms of her muscle pattern and the power that she's going to offer, she still puts it together in a really attractive pattern out here. I think that's a really nice individual to go ahead and win this class. Congratulations to the young lady.
Results for Class 102 of your senior heifer calves within your South Devon Junior Show. First place was entry 2638 from Sierra Steinlicht of Valley Falls, Kansas. That was the only class win within its division, so therefore first place within that class becomes your champion senior heifer calf. Moving about in the ring at this time now is Class 103. This is summer yearling heifers calved May 1st through July 31st of 2024. This is a single entry class. This is entry 2639 from Chase Terry of Winchester, Kansas. This is the only class in its division, so therefore, first place within Class 103 will become your champion summer yearling heifer.
A nice yearling heifer out here, and I think one in terms of her foot and her bone work, I think that's where her advantages are going to lie, is in terms of her foundation. I think the stoutness and the muscle pattern that she's going to carry on the top side of her skeleton certainly match out here. For me, she's running a little bit downhill. I'd like to see her wedge the opposite direction out here. Like to see her tucked up just a notch better in terms of her brisket and really have that swooping motion down through her rear rib and flank. But in terms of her breeding pieces, I do think she's going to offer a lot just in terms of her muscle pattern. Congratulations to that young lady.
Results for Class 103 of your South Devon Junior Heifers. First place and your champion summer yearling heifer, 2639 from Chase Terry. We will now move in the ring, Class 104. Class 104 will be junior yearling heifers calved January 1st through April 30th of 2024. We'll have two entries that will make up this class. Within Class 104, the entries that will make up this will be 2640 from Edward Winters of Zumbro Falls, Minnesota, and 2641 coming from Sierra Steinlicht of Valley Falls, Kansas.
Two super powerful individuals here for this division, and as you start to study between them, I think you can be nitpicky in terms of the little things here. I do love the combination of the heifer here to my left, and just in terms of her femininity, her great advantage is going to be in the front 1/3 of her body. Certainly really attractive. She's quite a bit fresher in terms of her head and neck, and in terms of her structure, I think she's more attractive in how she handles her hawk. She wants to flex out here just a notch better than the heifer that's going to follow her. Really nice individual to go ahead and win this pair. Now, in terms of true cow power, the individual that's going to be in second here, she is massive in terms of her muscle pattern, certainly really big and expressive as you study her on the top side of her skeleton. From there, I think we just need to lengthen her in terms of her front 1/3, like to freshen her up in terms of her head and her neck, and I'd like to see her just a notch more comfortable out here as when she's asked to lead, but a really nice pair. Congratulations to both of those individuals.
Results for Class 104 of junior yearling heifers, second place 2640 from Edward Winters. And your class winner was 2641 from Sierra Steinlicht. We will now make way for Class 104A. This class will be junior yearling heifers calved January 1st through April 30th of 2024. We'll have 3 entries that make up this class. Those entries include 2642 coming from Jace Peterson of Pella, Iowa, 2643 from Addison Killam of Wauseka, Minnesota, and rounding out our class is entry 2644 from Sierra Steinlicht of Valley Falls, Kansas. This is our last class within the division.
I think a really nice trio out here, and within these 3, I think there's one that surfaces just in terms of her femininity and balance. That's going to be the young lady's female here off to my left. And I think just in terms of her profile, one that's extremely good in terms of her head and neck. As you study her on the side, I think she's just a notch more correct in terms of her rib development, certainly in terms of her mid-rib and her flank. She gives that really broody look on the side. I do like her to go ahead and win this class. Certainly nothing to take away from the young man's heifer that's going to be in second here, and I think just in terms of her power and dimension, and I think she's easily the most flexible as you get her out here on the go. Just not quite as attractive as the heifer that's going to beat her today. I'd like to see her closed up just a notch in terms of the top of her shoulder. She's getting a little bit more opened up. That's going to throw off her balance just a little bit for me today, but certainly a lot of advantages there for the heifer in second. Young lady's female, it's going to round out our class here. I think one, just in terms of her depth of rib, certainly one that you have to appreciate from that standpoint. Need to tuck her into her brisket just a notch better. I'd like to see her just a notch better in terms of her foot and her bone work, her extra dimension that she's going to have in terms of her skeleton, but a nice trio. Congratulations to all those kids.
Results for Class 104A of junior yearling heifers. Third place was 2643 from Addison Kilm. Second place, 2642 from Jace Peterson. And your class winner was 2644 from Sierra Steinlicht. At this time, within your South Devon show, we will now bring back our class winners from classes 104 and 104A. Our judge, Ms. Casey Volmer, will now select your champion and reserve champion junior yearling heifers. We now welcome back into the ring our limousine exhibitors. We will have Division 1 of our limousine females within our MOE Level 2 show. Our judge is Mr. Paul Hill. He hails from Nunn, Colorado. He's a third-generation Charolais breeder who has been involved in the cattle industry his entire life. Paul and his wife are raising 3 boys who are all active in agriculture, and together they own Hill Brothers Livestock, where they focus on developing cattle in the high desert of Colorado that are built to work in the real world. Paul is a Missouri State University graduate, and after college, he spent several years at a large cattle operation in Colorado, gaining valuable hands-on experience. Today, he lives and resides in Nunn and serves as the National Director of Sales for Biozyme Incorporated, continuing to work closely with cattle producers across the country. We appreciate Mr. Paul Hill evaluating our limousine show.
I think a collection of 4 heifers that are extremely good out here for this division and making me work a little bit more today just in terms of studying those little things. And I think when you have a couple females that are this close in terms of their type and kind, you certainly have to be nitpicky on what they have to offer today and what you want to change. And I think they are very close. When you start to study them, I think there's one that's just a little bit more attractive in terms of her shoulder. There's one that's a little bit cowier in terms of her rear rib and flank. And you have one that's extremely highly presented, extremely attractive and feminine within that pair. I think they are very close. Congratulations to all the individuals out here. I'll go out and select your grand and reserve champion.
Some results to get to from your South Devon show. Ms. Casey Vollmer just selected your champion and reserve champion junior yearling heifers. Your champion was 2641 from Sierra Steinlicht. The reserve champion was 2644, also from Sierra Steinlicht. Within your South Devon show, we will now bring back our division winners, and our judge will select your grand and reserve grand champion South Devon junior heifers. Some results coming in from our limousine show. Division 1 limousine female class number 1. Second place was 4941 from Harper Torgensen of Artesian, South Dakota. And class winner was 4943 from Tyler Thomas of Sterling, Colorado. Moving about the ring for your limousine show ring is now class number 2. This is a single entry class. This is 4944 from Brenna Bartlow of Monticello, Illinois. Results coming in for class number 2 in your limousine show. First place, 4944 from Brenna Bartlow. Moving about the ring now will be class number 3. Within the limousine show, we'll have 2 entries that will make up class 3. This will be the final class within the division number 1. We'll have entries 4947 from Redlands Community College. And our last entry would be 4948 from Tyler Thomas of Sterling, Colorado. Those are your 2 entries that will make up class number 3.
As we bring our females out for our Supreme Division here, I truly was honored to get to sort through the cattle today, and I'm really looking forward to getting to work with the kids a little bit more in showmanship. And I wish our numbers were a little up, but man, was the quality good, and you just can't beat that for a show. So I commend all the producers and the exhibitors on a job well done for bringing a really high quality group for me to sort today. Before we go out and select our champion, I just want to thank the National Western for having me out, and It's always an honor to be here standing in the ring, and I was truly privileged last year to be able to sort the Highland Show the last year in that arena, and so to be asked again for the very first year, it's a really special opportunity for me. I grew up showing and judging in these arenas and always looked forward to Denver every year as an exhibitor and as a judge, and so to be on this side of the mic, it's really special for me, and it's been truly an honor. And for these kids, it's not always about the banners and the ribbons, and sure, winning is great. I know it's great, but I truly hope that they look back and they revel in this moment here, getting to be in the new arena. There's certainly no building like it, and I hope they look back one day and they have that same nostalgia that I have, getting to be here and getting to have those memories, because it's truly about the people that you share these experiences with and the memories you make, and certainly the lessons learned. And I look back and I'm very honored to have had those, and the National Western has been a huge part of what has built me today. So I hope you kids know that you're part of history today, and I'm honored to have got to share that with you. Certainly a lot of quality as we see them out here for our females in our Supreme Drive, and I think there's a pair of them here that are extremely good. They're really high quality in terms of their femininity and how they're put together. I think there's a pair of them that fit extremely well. So Denver, let's go find you a Supreme Champion in reserve.
Results in your South Devon show. Your grand champion South Devon Junior Heifer was just crowned. That comes from your junior yearling heifer division. That is 2641 from Sierra Steinlecht. Your reserve grand champion South Devon Junior Heifer also comes from that junior yearling heifer division. That is entry 2644 from Sierra Steinlecht. Over in your limousine show, results coming in for class number 3. Second place was 4948 from Tyler Thomas of Sterling, Colorado. And your class winner was 4947 from Redlands Community College of El Reno, Oklahoma. In the ring at this time now for the limousine show will be our class winners returning for our judge to select your champion and reserve champion Division I limousine females. For those spectators of the South Devon show, we have paused for pictures at the backdrop. Once our pictures have concluded, we will bring up our showmanship categories, and I believe we're going to start off with our senior showmanship. We're going to start with class number 1 of senior showman. Your Division I limousine female champion comes from class number 2, that is 4944 from Brenna Bartlow. Your Division I reserve champion comes out of class number 3, that is 4947, coming from Redlands Community College. We'll clear out our ring and now make way for our next division. This will be Division II of our limousine females. This will be class number 4 moving about in the ring. We'll have entries 4949 from Trotter Thomas of Sterling, Colorado. 4950 comes from Kyle Rule of Stillwater, Oklahoma. 4951 from Addison Kilm of Wauseka, Minnesota. And 4942 from Ben Spencer of Gibbon, Nebraska. This is the only class within Division II, so therefore, first and second within class number 4 will become your champion and reserve champion for Division II.
Good morning here on the South Devon side. Before we get into showmanship, one thing that we do as a South Devon Association with our juniors is we represent or recognize the young person who represents the epitome of the herdsmanship and the epitome of the care and what we do with these animals in what we have established as a Golden Comb Award. And that individual is presented with a banner and a golden comb. With me in the ring here is Mr. Jace Peterson, last year's recipient of the Golden Comb Award. He passes that honor forward to what we are, him and the rest of the barn has essentially unanimously established as our herdsman is the one who dedicates their time and passions to what we require and what is expected of this show cow industry. So I'm going to turn this microphone over to Jace, go grab the award, and he's going to introduce your Golden Comb recipient. You want?
This year, I selected Eddie Winters as the Golden Comb Award.
Results for your Division II of Limousine Female Class number 4. Fourth place, 49.50 from Kyle Rule. Third place, 49.51 from Addison Kilb. Second place and your reserve champion Division II Limousine Female was 49.49 from Trotter Thomas. And your champion and first place within Division II is entry 49.42 from Ben Spencer. We will now move into division number 3 within our limousine show. This will be class number 5 in the ring. We'll have a single entry in this class, 49.52 from Alyssa Slimmer. Over in our South Devon show ring, we have our senior showmanship class number 1. Results for class number 5 on the limousine show. First place, 49.52 from Alyssa Slimmer. We'll now make way for class number 6. Class 6 will have entries 49.53 from Gabriel Miner of Stratford, Missouri, and 49.54 from Savannah Larson of Interlochen, Florida. These are the 2 entries that make up class number 6. Class number 6 will be the last class within Division 3. So as mentioned within our South Devon show ring, this is our senior showmanship. This is class 1 of 2. Our judge, Casey Vollmer, will select our top individuals from our senior showmanship class number 1, and she will then bring back those individuals against the competition that she will select from class number 2. Class 1 will have entries from Joseph Hanfler, Paige Fellbaum, Kate Barney, Lindsay Strach, Carly McCracken, Tibbet Brown, Jillian Kniep, and Sierra Steinlicht. Results for Class 6 in your Division 3 of Limousine Females. Second place, 49.53 from Gabriel Miner of Stratford, Missouri. And your class winner was 49.54 from Savannah Larson of Interlochen, Florida. We'll now bring back our class winners from classes 5 and 6. Our judge, Mr. Paul Hill, will select your champion and reserve champion Division 3 Limousine Females. Your Division III limousine female champion comes from class number 5. That's Alyssa Slimmer. The reserve champion comes from class number 6. That is 4954 from Savannah Larson. We'll now make way for Division number 4 of our limousine females. We'll have one class that will make up Division 4. That'll be class number 7. Class number 7 will have entries 4955 from Allie Sorensen of Spanish Fork, Utah. This class number 7 is the only class within the Division 4, so therefore first place within this class will become your division champion.
A really nice first class of senior showmen here on the South Devon side. I am going to go ahead and take these 4 individuals back to come back for contention for overall. I will follow this suit through all of our showmanship classes. I like to talk to each kid about some things they did well, some things that they can take on with them into their future shows. A really high quality first class. Please give all these exhibitors a round of applause as they leave the ring today.
Results for your Division 4 of limousine females. First place, class number 7, 4955 from Allie Sorensen of Spanish Fork, Utah. She also becomes your Division 4 champion. We will now clear out our ring and make up way for our next division, which would be Division 5 of limousine females. Up first would be class number 8 within Division 5. Division 5 will have 2 entries, 4957 from Redlands Community College of El Reno, Oklahoma, and 4959 will come way of Minor Limousine of Stratford, Missouri. Over within your South Devon show ring, we have our second and final class of senior showmen. Within class number 2, we will have entries from Julie Damon, Edward Winters, Macy Hansen, Brady Mitchell, Lauren Zabel, Jace Peterson, Chase Terry, Megan Fellbaum, and Addie Kilm. Results coming in for class number 8 of your Division 5 limousine females. Second place, 49.57 from Redlands Community College. And your class winner was 49.59 from Minor Limousine of Stratford, Missouri. Making their way in the ring at this time now for your limousine show is class number 9. This is a single entry class, 49.60 from Aaliyah Wick. Results for class number 9 within your Division 5 limousine show. First place, 49.60 from Aaliyah Wick. We'll now make way for class number 10. Class number 10 will have a single entry, 49.63 from Savannah Larson of Interlachen, Florida. This is our last class within Division 5. Results for class number 10 of Division 5 limousine females. First place, 49.63 from Savannah Larson of Interlachen, Florida. We'll now take the time to bring back our class winners for Division 5. Our judge, Mr. Paul Hill, will select your champion and reserve champions.
Another really competitive group of seniors here on the South Devon side. And again, I am going to bring back the 4 individuals here for contention for our overall champion. Please congratulate all these kids as they leave the ring today. They did a phenomenal job out here.
Your Division 5 limousine female champion comes out of that third class. That is Class 10. That is entry 4963 from Savannah Larson of Interlachen, Florida. Your Division 5 limousine female reserve champion comes from Class 8. That is entry 4959 from Minor Limousine of Stratford, Missouri. Within our limousine show, we will now have all of our division champions return back for Mr. Paul Hill to select your grand champion and reserve grand champion females. So walking about the ring will be our division champions within the limousine open show. From your first division, your champion, 4944 from Brenna Bartlow. The reserve being 4947 from Redlands Community College. From your second division, entry 4942, your champion from Ben Spencer. The reserve being 4949 from Trotter Thomas. From your third division, your champion, 4952 from Alyssa Slimmer. The reserve being from 4954 of Savannah Larson. From your fourth division, your champion, 4955 from Allie Sorensen. From your fifth division, your champion, 4963 from Savannah Larson. And your reserve champion being 4959 from Minor Limousine. Those are your division champions for your judge to select his grand and reserve grand champion females. Your grand champion female comes out of your second division. That is going to be 49-42 from Ben Spencer. Your reserve grand champion female comes from your third division. That is 49-52 from Alyssa Slimmer.
If you'll please join me and congratulate all these senior showmen out here. I worked them really hard out here today. I think a tremendous amount of caliber as we study them, just in terms of showmanship all the way through. There was obviously these groups of individuals just fit my personality and what I look for in the ring just a little bit better, but I truly am impressed all the way through our senior group. I thought there was a true caliber of showmen and certainly a lot of quality. As a breed, you should be very proud of the individuals that you have representing you. And I apologize for taking a little bit longer, but to me, this is the future of our industry, and this is where it's important. And as an individual in the ring said today, it's we forget that human aspect, and it's the best thing about this breed is the people. And I 100% agree with her. And so I think we forget that a lot of times when we get out here in the ring. We think about those banners, we think about winning, we forget that human aspect, and that's truly what's important out here. These kids are the future of our industry, they're the future of our world, and so to me, I like to showcase those abilities, so thank you to that individual for recognizing that and making that important, because I 100% agree. These top 3 girls out here do a phenomenal job. I would trust them on a halter any day of the week, and so I commend them on a job well done. Little things between them, but I'll go out and select your champion in reserve. Congratulations all the way through.
Congratulations to our senior showmanship exhibitors. Your champion senior showman was Lauren Zabel. Your reserve champion was Carly McCracken. We'll now move right into our junior showmanship. We will have one class of junior showmen. We'll have in this class Jane Damon, Jenna Damon, Owen Kilm, Trice Vander Molen, and Kelsey Zimmer. Those will be your 5 entries that will make up your class of junior showmanship. We welcome back our limousine exhibitors and spectators. We'll now start off with our Division I of limousine bulls within our bull show. Our judge once again is Mr. Paul Hill. We're going to start off with class number 11. Class number 11 is the only class within Division I. Class 11 will have entries 4964 from Harper Torgensen of Artesian, South Dakota, and 4965 from Reynolds Land and Cattle of Sanford, Colorado. Once again, first and second within class number 11 will become your champion and reserve champion Division I limousine bulls. Results for class number 11. Second place, reserve champion Division I limousine bull is 4964 from Harper Torgensen from Artesian, South Dakota. First place in class 11 and your champion Division I limousine bull is 4965 from Reynolds Land and Cattle of Sanford, Colorado. We'll now make way for Division II of limousine bulls. We'll have in the ring at this time now class number 12. Class 12 will have two entries. We'll have entries 4966 from Simon's Brothers Limousine of Amherst, South Dakota, and 4967 from Spring Creek's Cattle Company of Wisconsin. And our last entry was a scratch for those of you following along in the program. This will be the first class of two classes within the division. Results for Division II Class 12 for your limousine bulls. Second place was 4966 from Simon Bros Limousine. And your class winner was 4967 coming from Spring Creek's Cattle Company. Now making into the ring is Class 13. Class 13, single entry, 4969 from Kessler Collins of Flanagan, Illinois. This is our last class within Division II. Results for Class 13 of Division II Limousine Bulls. First place, 4969 from Kessler Collins. At this time, within our limousine show, we will bring back our class winners from Division II. And our judge, Paul Hill, will select your champion and reserve champion, Division II Limousine Bulls. Coming back from Class 12 would be 4967 from Spring Creek's Cattle Company, and coming back from Class 13, 4969 from Kessler Collins. Your Division II champion from the Limousine Bulls comes out of Class 13. That is 4969 from Kessler Collins. And your reserve champion comes via the way of Class 12. That is entry 4967 from Spring Creek's Cattle Company. We will now make way for Division 4 of our Limousine Bulls. We will have in this class, this is Class 14, 2 entries that will make it up. Excuse me, just 1 entry. This will be 4970 from Colt Parkinson of Levelland, Texas. Results for Division 4 Limousine Bull Class 14, first place 4970 from Colt Parkinson. We'll clear out our ring and now bring up Class 15. Class 15 will have a single entry within it. It'll be entry 4971 from Torgenson Farms of Artesian, South Dakota. This is our last class within Division 4.
Huge congratulations to our juniors out here, and I wish our numbers were a little bit better, but please help me congratulate all these kids out here. They did a phenomenal job today. Before I go out and select your champion in reserve, I just want to thank you guys one more time for sticking with me today as we went through the South Devon show. It was truly an honor to sort through the cattle and an even bigger privilege to get to work with these kids and get to know your youth. And you guys as an association, you should be very proud because there's a tremendous amount of quality in here all the way through, from the people all the way to the cattle. And so I certainly appreciate all the hard work that you do behind the scenes. Big thanks to all of my ring stewards out here keeping keeping me in line, and it truly takes a lot of hands on deck behind the scenes that we don't always see. So thank you guys all the way through for putting on a really smooth show that helps make my job as a judge even better. So it's been an honor to be in this arena as we start a brand new chapter here in Denver, and I've been really honored to be here. So huge congrats to the people that made that happen for us and as an industry as a whole. I'll go on and select your champion reserve. Congratulations to all the kids today.
Results from your junior showmanship in your South Devon show. 5th place was Trice Vandermolen. 4th place, Kelsey Zimmer. 3rd place, Owen Kilm. Your reserve champion junior showman was Jenna Damon. And your champion junior showman was Jane Damon. Congratulations to all of our exhibitors within our South Devon show. A wonderful show and a job well done to those exhibitors, and we appreciate everybody joining us online at Ringside Live. And that does conclude our South Devon show for the 2026 National Western Stock Show. Some results to get to over here in your limousine show. Your Class 15 winner was entry 4971 from Torgenson Farms. We now have in the ring at this time our class winners from 14 and 15, and our judge will now select your Division 4 champion and reserve champion limousine bulls.